بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. كيف نميز الاسم أو كيف نميز الاسم من الفعل؟ كيف نميز الاسم من الفعل؟ How we distinguish the noun or between the noun and the verb. There are about 10 signs, 10 ways to help you know whether this word is a verb or a noun, right? It's very important to know it's a verb or a noun. This will help you a lot in many things. If it's a noun, we know every noun has how many properties? كل اسم له 4 properties. Number, gender, type, and status. Right? Number and gender and type and status. But verbs don't have those properties, right? Verbs don't have those properties, or don't have all of them. Now, we will take some of them, some of these signs that help you to know the noun from the verb. The very first one, this is for sure. Verbs never take tanween. It's only nouns that take tanween. What are the kinds of speech in Arabic? If you remember very the first class, we said there are how many? 3. Ism, فعل, حرف. We'll try in this class and in the next one, inshallah, to distinguish between these 3 categories. When you know this is an ism or فعل or حرف, that will help you a lot. So, first thing, verbs never take tanween, only nouns. This means also حروف never take tanween. Tamam? So what takes tanween? What takes tanween? Only nouns, only al-asma. Only al-asma. Right? Why we use tanween and when do we use tanween? Let's see an example. As-sama'u صافية. The sky is clear. You say clear? Clear means there are no clouds, no. صافية. بلدة طيبة. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, بلدة طيبة ورب غفور, right? بلدة means a town. طيبة means good. Okay. When do we use tanween for nouns? When this noun is indefinite. We call it in Arabic nakira, right? When it is nakira, we use tanween with it. So once you see tanween, you know it's a noun, and you know it is nakira. These are very basic steps for you to learn Arabic. Very basic. Because you need to know what this word is. So this is very helpful. Whenever you see tanween, you know it's a noun and it's nakira. It is indefinite noun. Tamam? You can write it down. Whenever you see tanween on any word, you know it's an indefinite noun. Means ism nakira. Ism nakira. It's very important because later on we will use this a lot. Nakira has certain rules, Ma'rifa has certain rules. So this is the first sign. You asked me, right? How to distinguish between nouns and verbs. How to distinguish between nouns and verbs. We're gonna get 10 signs that help you to distinguish between them. Okay? This is the first one of them. A harf will never take tanween. A fa'al will never take tanween. Whenever you see tanween, so you know it is اسم nakira. اسم nakira. Let's use the Arabic words. Let's get used to them. Let's get used to them. Now, some additional points here about the tanween. If you stop on any word that has tanween, of course, when we say tanween, you all know how many types of tanween do we have? Fathatan, dhammatan, kasratan. That's the 3 tanweens we have in Arabic, right? Whenever you stop on tanween, how do you stop?
صافية.
How do you stop with tanween? When you have tanween?
ها sound. ها.
You make a fatha. You make it like a alif.
Okay, because you see only ta. Okay, let me get you something else then. رب غفور.
If it's, you have to stop on the letter.
رب غفور.
You have to stop on the letter.
Huh?
سكون.
سكون.
Yeah.
Sukun. When you stop on any letter in Arabic, you stop with what? Sukun. Tanween has 2 exceptions. Write them down and pay attention. This will help you in reading the Quran and even also in speaking Arabic. If you stop on any letter we said in Arabic, you stop with sukun. If you have tanween, you also stop with sukun, but there are 2 exceptions. How many? 2 exceptions. Let me make this smaller so that we add one example for that second exception. The first exception, when you have ta marbuta, ta marbuta, with any haraka, not only with tanween, with any haraka, how do you stop on it? Ha. Got it? This is the first exception. Whenever you stop on ta marbuta, how do you stop on it? How do you pronounce it? Ha. بلدة طيبة. No. طيبة. Right? طيبة. Right? Second exception, who knows the second exception? Who knows the second exception? No one? No one?
Second exception. الألف رحيمة.
أيوة. When you have تنوين النصب, when you have تنوين النصب, when you have تنوين النصب, تنوين النصب means الفتحتان. When you have فتحتان at the end of any word, whether you're reading the Quran or you're reading a normal Arabic text or you're speaking, when you stop on a word that has al-fatḥatan, what do? I gave you this rule. Who remembers?
You put that. You say
What do?
رحيمة.
نعرف الألف.
ألف, yeah.
غفورا رحيما.
We drop the tanween.
And put ألف, like you said ألف.
You put an alif here.
You read it, but you read
ألف.
We just drop the tanween. Because tanween al-fatah always used with an alif or with ta marbuta. When it is ta marbuta, we know how do you pronounce it? Ha. If it's not ta marbuta, they're gonna put an alif for it. If there is no alif, you put an alif. So the rule is this: when you stop on a word that has tanween al-fatah, you drop the tanween and you add an alif if there is no alif. That's the rule. Write it down. Whenever you stop on a word that has tanween and nasab, means the 2 fathas, what do? Write it down. You drop the tanween and you add an alif if there is no alif. You will not find this rule in a book. This
Specific.
clearly
Detail.
or in this clarity. Example. One more example for the exception also. So here there is an alif, right? So you drop the tanween. How do you read it? Just غفورا, right? If you stop here, رحيما. What if هو الذي جعل لكم السماء, for example, بناء. There's no alif. How do we read it?
Oh yeah.
What's the rule I gave you? Tell me the rule. Tell me the
You
rule.
drop a tanween and say the same thing.
Yeah,
بناء.
What's the rule? Tell me the rule.
Yeah, drop a tanween and
Drop the tanween. Okay, so we read it bina, right?
add
الألف
Add an alif if there's no alif. How do you read it?
بناء.
Bina.
بناء.
Tamam? This is regarding the tanween. Many students, they make mistakes. When they see this, they read the Quran, they read it bina, because they don't say Arab. This is why in the Tajweed Mus'haf, in those types of words, on the margin they made a square and they write it for you this way. And they write it's pronounced this way when you stop on it. This is to make it helpful for beginners or readers in general. Got this? Very easy, right? Next one. Second sign is al-ta'rif. We learned about al-ta'rif before. Verbs can never take al-ta'rif. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, you wrote it down.
Verbs can never take al-ta'rif. Here there are some tricks now. There are some tricks. Let me see who's gonna pick them up. Okay, before the tricks, very quick reminder. This is almost a review. Al-Ta'rif means what? This is Al-Ta'rif. In the Quran, it is like this. It is like this in the Quran. In the normal books, it is just like this. What is al-ta'rif made up of? What is it made up of? Two letters. What are they?
ألف لا.
No.
همزة الوصل.
The first letter of al-ta'rif is hamzat al-wasl. And the second is lam. Right? So hamzat wasl and lam. This is the sign of hamzat wasl. Do you remember? Like a small sad. I think al-Farahidi or one of those great Muslim scholars, they put this sign to identify hamzat wasl. It's from the word sila. Sila, so they took sad. It's very small sad. Because it helps you to start the words that start with sukoon. Why do the Arabs use hamzat al-wasl? This is a review. To help them start the words that start with sukoon. So this is why after hamzat al-wasl, always we must have a letter with sukoon. Right? Are you up? Are you awake? So we cannot have any haraka after hamzat wasl. It must be sukoon. This is why if we have a letter before hamzat wasl, what do we do? And we want to read, what do? We drop hamzat wasl. Example, we say do we say alhamdu? The Arabs never start with sukoon. This is why they have what? Hamzat wasl, to help them start the words that start originally with sukoon. So they don't say alhamdu, right? What do they say? Alhamdu. Alhamdu or ulhamdu or ilhamdi. Al. Always al.
Yes. Always
No.
Of course, if something before it.
No. How do you read this word?
Oh, I thought you meant just.
How do you read this word?
That's not al-ta'rif.
This is hamzat wasl. I'm talking about hamzat wasl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can.
Ism, right? Ism.
Yeah, you can.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. How about this?
Or Abu.
Let's keep this here. So, hamzat al-wasl has fatha when it is part of al-ta'rif. You're not writing. If it is part of al-ta'rif, it must have fatha. No other option. So always you say al, which means what in English? The. تمام. الحمد الرحمن الرحيم البيت ال. Now, if we use or we pronounce any letter before Hamzat al-Wasl and we connect it with it, we don't need it anymore. So if we use wa here, for example, do we say wa alhamdu? What do we say? Khalas, we don't need Hamzat al-Wasl. Why? There is another haraka that helps us to start this word. So we say wal, right? Walhamdu, right? Iltaqatahu, we say, if we add fa as in the ayah, fa iltaqatahu we say, or fal taqatahu, right? Okay. This is Hamzat al-Wasl in nouns. This is Hamzat al-Wasl in nouns. Do we use Hamzat al-Wasl with verbs?
Yes.
Yes. What's the haraka of Hamzat al-Wasl in the verbs? We learned it before. We look at the third letter. This is a quick review. We covered this before. I'm not giving you a lot of information to confuse you, but this is a review because we covered this before. Hamzat al-Wasl in verbs should start with kasra if the third letter has kasra, and should start with fatha. Start with kasra if the third letter has kasra or fatha, and it starts with dhamma if the third letter has dhamma. Tamam? So you can phrase it this way: if the third letter has dhamma, how do you start Hamzat al-Wasl? Dhamma. Otherwise, kasra. Got it? Now I'm going to show you some examples on this. Now, in al-Ta'rif, Hamzat al-Wasl always have what? Remember al. Hamzat al-Wasl has what? In al-Ta'rif, Hamzat al-Wasl have what? Fatha. Right? Always you say al. But there are some nouns, 10 nouns in Arabic. We will cover them inshallah. When we come to number 10, now this is number 1. Number 2, when we come to number 9, we will learn these nouns, inshallah. There are 10 nouns in Arabic. We use with them Hamzat al-Wasl. Besides al, they are ism, ibn, ibna, ithnan, ithnatan, ithnain, ithnatain, imru'un, imra'atun. These nouns, specific nouns, we use with them Hamzat al-Wasl. So back to here. Whenever you see Hamzat al-Wasl with al, means al-Ta'rif, for sure you know this is a verb, right?
No.
Now they're afraid. Every question they're waiting.
No.
No. So what? Whenever you see al-Ta'rif, you know it's what?
No.
A noun. Could it be harf? Never. Could it be a fa'al?
No.
Never. It is only a noun. I'm talking about Hamzat al-Wasl or I'm talking about al. I'm talking about al. Whenever you see al, it must be a noun. Done with this. And whenever you see al, it's nakira or ma'rifa. You don't need to think ma'rifa, because the book, give me the book, a specific defined book, right? So now this is the second rule. Whenever you see tanween, you know it is ism, nakira. Whenever you see al, you know it is ism, ma'rifa. And they call it mu'arrafun bi al, defined with al. Because ma'rifa, we have about 7 types of ma'rifa, which is definition. One of them, the first one of them is definition with al. Tamam? What do they call it? Mu'arraf bi al, defined with al, or made definite with al. Tamam? Now, there are some verbs, you see them, they start with alif and lam, but that's not al-Ta'rif. So you should be careful. For example, here, is this a noun or a verb? Quickly read
Now,
it.
now.
Noun. Al, how did you know?
Al.
Al, right? ماشي. Lillah,
Now.
how do you know?
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Lillah. But if someone doesn't know the meaning of this word, this is li. Li is a preposition. Li is a preposition. This will come in one of the things we can distinguish the noun from the verb through, which is preposition. Li is a preposition. After the preposition, there must be a noun. This is one way to know. Another way to know it originally, it is li Allah. It is li Allah. This is how it is originally. Li Allah. But we don't say li Allah, right? What do we do with Hamza al-Wasl? We drop it. So it becomes lillah. Tamam? This is how it is originally. Anyway, here, who can read this word? Yalla. Is this a noun or a verb? Who can read it? Yalla. Shall I put harakat for you?
Noun.
Huh?
No.
Now.
It is a verb.
A verb.
Why it's a verb? Because this is not al-ta'rif. This is part of the verb.
التقط.
التقطه. التقطه.
Why is there that?
التقطه. This is part of the verb. فالتقطه آل فرعون. The people of Fir'aun, the family of Fir'aun, they picked him up. They picked Sayyidina Musa. فالتقطه. So, التقط. There are few verbs in Arabic. Few verbs. They start with al or il. That's part of the verb. So don't confuse them, okay, with nouns. Just very few verbs. So this is the first one. Now why we started Hamzat Wasl with kasra. In the Quran, they don't put haraka for you for Hamzat Wasl. You should know it. Right? But they put a small sad. In the normal writing, they don't put anything. They don't put even a normal sad, a small sad. So how do you read this word? التقطه, التقطه, التقطه.
التقطه.
How do you know?
Hamzat al-Wasl, the third letter.
The third letter has fatha, so it starts with kasra. When I start to think about those verbs, I couldn't remember beside these 4 verbs in Arabic that start with il. Okay? There's one more verb. So this means it's very easy, okay? Just learn these verbs. Beside them, whenever you see something starting with al, you know it is what? A noun. Which type of nouns? Ma'rifa or nakira? Ma'rifa. This verb, ilta'ama. Is it a noun?
No.
It's a verb. Ilta'ama. We say about the wound. When you have a wound and it come close and it's closed, right? Or it's closed, it's almost cured, we say ilta'ama al-jurhu. So this is particularly for the wound they use it. Ilta'ama al-jurhu. This is in the Quran. Who can read it? Who can read it? التفت. See the shadda? التفت. والتفت الساق بالساق. والتفت الساق بالساق. When the shin or the leg will become over the other leg at the time of death. Some people, their legs will become like this. So what is this verb? التفت.
Messed up.
التفت, to come over.
Turn over.
You see, there's a branch of a tree, and there's another small branch, very thin branch. It goes around it.
Overlap.
This is iltaffa. So what do you say?
Overlap.
Overlapped. L-A-P.
Yeah.
Overlapped. Okay, this is iltaffa.
Or
You say
wrapped.
one shin overlapped over the other.
Or wrapped around it.
Wrapped around. This is what iltaffa means. Tamam? Finally, who can know this?
اللعب. اللعب.
إلى.
العب. العب. Before you said that.
He said العب,
العب.
which is correct, by the way, without حركة. العب. العب.
Repeat الفعل.
Or it could be العب. It could be read as a noun and it could be read as a verb. If you put the harakat, then it's il'ab, which means play. Play. Don't play too much, but you can play, okay? So, this is il'ab, this is a verb. Why we said il'ab, not al'ab or ul'ab?
Third letter is
Third letter has fatha, the ayn. Tamam? Okay. Now, Isa said al-ab. Could it be read as al-ab? Yes. When you say al-ab, with shadda here, this is a word for you to know, which is al-abbu. Al-ab means to drink water like this. Okay? This is called al-ab. And there's a hadith that مص الماء مصا ولا تعبوه عبا فإن الكباد من العب. مص الماء مصا. When you drink, sip the water or suck it. They say suck it? Huh?
Sip it.
Sip it? Sip the water. Sip it. Like this. Not. This is the sunnah. This is how you drink, right? You sip it, right? Bismillah. You don't have to make this sound because it's hot, right? So you don't because فإن الكباد من العب. They say a disease in the liver is because of gulping down. A disease in the liver happens because of gulping the water down, right? You say gulping the water down. Is that right? Correct me. Don't be shy if I say it wrong. So this is al-abbu. You see? But this is il'ab. How do you know from the harakat? Mashi? Finally, before we move to number 3, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. When you see shadda after al, if you forgot those verbs, there's another thing that helps you. Whenever you see, you remember this lam is called what? Lam al-ta'rif. Lam of al-ta'rif. Right? Lam of al of the definition. This al could be either shamsiyya or qamariyya, right?
No, only one of them.
Either shamsiyya or qamariyya. Right? When is it shamsiyya? This is review again. When is it shamsiyya? So shamsiyya means you don't pronounce the lam. Like the word ash-shams, right? You say ash-shams or al-shams? Ash-shams. You say ash-jibal or al-jibal? Al or ash-jibal? Al. So this is qamariyya. You say al-qamar or al-qamar? Al. If you forget, remember these two words, shamsiyya, ash-shams. The lam is dropped. Qamariyya, al-qamar. The lam is there. So shamsiyya is not pronounced, qamariyya is pronounced. How do I know? I gave you a sentence. Who remember it? Ibghi hajjaka wa khaf aqimahu. We took this in one of the classes before. Those letters are the qamari letters. Those letters are the qamari letters. This means if you see any letter of those qamari letters after the lam, then the lam is qamariyya. This means you pronounce it. There's another way to know it's shamsiyya or qamariyya by the shadda. Whenever you see shadda after the lam, this means the lam is shamsiyya. What if there are no harakat in the book? You'll get confused. So learn this. Ibghi hajjaka wa khaf aqimahu. These are qamariyya letters. When they come after the lam, you know the lam is qamariyya. Got it? Is that clear? So if you see al with shadda, you know for sure this is a noun. Because there's no verb that starts with il, then there's shadda after it. Impossible. In Arabic there's no verb that has al means alif and lam then has shadda.
نميز.
There isn't. Okay?